Hello everyone, my name is Mariam and welcome to my Cricut Design Space tutorials. We already finished everything we want to talk about in the text and fonts, how to upload images, either SVG or PNG, and how to make stickers. Today I'm going to concentrate more about the object and the shapes. All right, so this is example for some shapes and we need to find out what is the possibilities we can do with each shape, how to edit it and how to change the colors and everything. So let's put this one aside. And as I mentioned last time, already Cricut Design Space software, they added heaps of extra shapes. Some of them are available for free, but some are available if you have subscription or you can buy any of them individually. All right, so let's start with one of them, maybe that nice heart, and we drag it here. Okay, so any object in general or any shape, what can you do with it? So number one, with clicking left click on that arrow, you can make it bigger or smaller. You can click on this one, left click and hold and rotate. You can delete it by clicking on the X. If you want to undo, you click on that arrow. Also, the other option to delete, from the right panel, you select the object you want and you click delete. Or you also can do right click, and there are many options here. One of them is delete. So in the right click option, it will give you only a few options: cut, copy, duplicate, delete, send to back, and move backward. And we are going to talk about all of them. Now, if you make it bigger or smaller, it will keep the same dimensions. The proportions will not be affected because the padlock is closed. If you click on the padlock, it will open, and that means I can make it wider or longer, and it will not keep the proportion anymore. So basically, be sure if you don't want the proportion to be changed, that padlock has to be closed, which is by default in Cricut Design Space software. It's always locked. And also you can change that from up here as well. Now, if you can see, it's very tiny, but it's open now, the padlock. So the padlock can be open either from the shape itself or from the top panel. When we go to Inkscape tutorials later after we finish Cricut Design Space series, unfortunately the padlock is opened by default and you have to remember from the very start to close it first before you start working. Otherwise the proportions can be changed without you realize. All right, what else we can do for the object? So we can come here and change the operation. So generally, if you want cut, it will be cut option, but there is basic wavy perforate, depends on what blade do you have. If you want a drawing, then you need to select the pen. And if you select the pen, you come back to that little square and select what type of pen you want. So Cricut brand, it has many options, either fine or gel or glitter or marker bit thicker or calligraphy coming in 2mm or 2.5mm. And each one of them you can select the color. Now, when you select the object, you simply left click on it all, or you can select it from the right panel. Now, the other thing other than cutting or drawing, you can use a foil, and in this case, you have to use a foil kit. And there are three different types of blades. You install it either fine or medium or bold. I myself use the bold most of the times because it shows the foil um, result perfectly. The medium is good as well, but the fine is very thin. But it's just personal opinion. The score, this is if you want sort of scoring, and that's useful generally when you use the shape of the line and you want to score, for example, in the middle of the card. Debossing, that is nice, which is similar to the scoring. So there is emboss side and deboss side. And actually, the deboss, if you think about it, it works similar idea to the scoring. So if you have the deboss and you don't have the scoring wheel, it's worth to try the deboss blade and see if it will score nicely for you. And there is engraving and then the print and then cut. Now you can change the color, you choose any of them. Generally, the top one is the one we used recently, but you can select any of them, or you can click on Advanced and you select any color or shade you want. You simply left click and drag to where you would like it. All right, and then left click. Basically, if you have several shapes on the screen, so you can select both of them easily by left click and drag. Let's get another shape here. And then let's give it another color. So if I want to select these two shapes together, I either left click and drag. That's one option. The second option, from the right panel, you select one of them, and while you are holding Shift key or Control key, you select the second one. Now you need to know that the Shift key and Control key works the same function if you are using the right panel. There is no difference between them. But if you are selecting objects or you're doing anything from the screen, then you need to click Shift key, not the Control. So I can select the heart, and then while I'm holding the Shift key on the keyboard, I can select the other shape. All right. If I want to select all the objects on the screen, you either Shift or Control key and select them all from the right panel, or I can left click and drag all of them, or Shift click and then select all the other shapes I want. Or if you want everything on the screen, you can do Control A on your keyboard, or the other option, you can click here, select all. Now, what else do we have? We have edit. And in edit, there is cut and copy. So basically, if you do copy, for example, you can come here. I can go to File, and I say New Window. And then we come to this screen, and then we press Edit, and then Paste. And then the object will be here. So that's the advantage. If you have a specific design you did in one of the screens and you want to move it or paste it in another screen to start using it in another design, then this is how you do it. You go to the first screen, either you do right click and select copy, or you can do it from edit copy. And then you go to the other screen and do paste. Also, the other option, you can do Control C on your keyboard to copy and Control V on the other screen to paste. Okay, what about cut? Cut means I will take this object completely out from my project here, and then I will go to the other screen and then click Edit and then Paste. Then I have two hearts here. All right. Now with the offset, this is a function we spoke about it in another tutorial, but let me remind you. So that is a slide bar, and the slide bar, you can either drag it to make it bigger offset, or you can go to the minus area and then doing inset, so the heart having extra heart inside the first object. Or you can, of course, type the number, and then you want the corner round or the corners sharp. With the heart, you will not find any difference. Even either I selected the round corner or the sharp object, and then apply. And while this is selected, the offset, you will find on the right panel, instead of only one heart, you will have another heart, which is the offset. Now, if I move this one, it's basically two hearts, two full hearts. This is not just the outline. It's full, it's not like a stroke. It's basically a full heart. So let's align them together in the center, back in the center. Normally, after you do offset as well, it's recommended to select both of them and then group. With the offset color, as you know, you can either, so you select it from the right panel, or you can select it from the screen before we group them, and then you change the color to whatever color you prefer. All right, with the size, as I said, you can make it bigger or smaller, but you also can control the size from here. As you can see, there is a yellow triangle here, and that's because simply this is bigger than the mat. So the mat, the width is 30 centimeter or 12 inches. That means the width can't exceed 11.5 inches if you are using the imperial, or 29.21 centimeter if you are using the metric. I use the metric here, the centimeter, but if you prefer to change it to the inch at any stage, you simply come here to settings and change it to imperial. That will give the inches in the measurement. With the rotation, as I mentioned, you can left click on that one and then rotate. But also you can, from the beginning, you can go to the rotation and say exactly what number you want to rotate it. So let's say this is now here, so just a 90. Or you can make it 180 degrees. Now, what is the position? The position is where is it located on your screen. The x-axis is the horizontal axis from the top. The y-axis is the vertical. So let's say I want to move this one here, maybe like a 5 centimeters, and for the width and 5 centimeter for the x and 5. So it's simply moved to the right position of on the screen, and that's the center of the heart will be on that position. Now, to make your screen bigger or smaller, you simply zoom in or zoom out. So that's the plus to zoom in, or the minus to zoom out. The zoom out, you can't zoom out more than 25%. All right, I think we covered a lot of points today about the shapes. Please try it, and if you get any question, let me know. I think we are going to stop at this point today, and we will continue all other functions for the shapes and objects next time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in next tutorial.